There we go. What's going on, everyone? Kelly Kevlar here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode 13. It's Friday, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I know you got lots of stuff to choose from out there to watch. I'm glad y'all are tuning in. If you haven't yet, like, follow, share us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We are currently live on both Facebook and YouTube. So for those following us on Facebook right now, what's going on, everyone? YouTube. Hope y'all are enjoying this. Please stay tuned after we're done. I'm going to release next week's 5 guests. You are definitely going to want to look forward to those. So without further ado, today's guest, all the way from New York, up north there, up in the cold area. Awesome guy. He's been on the scene here now for a couple years. Big in the local scene up in New York. Everyone likes to call him a little miniature Junior Willis. So please welcome my good buddy, Mr. Brandon Zahorsky. What's going on, B?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you having me. This is cool, man. I'm pretty excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. I already got people coming in. Jim said, yikes, you got Brandon on Friday the 13th. Didn't even pay attention that today was Friday the 13th. Wow. This should be fun then. So for those who don't know you out there watching, why don't you give us a little history, B?
Line dancing was a total thing that I never imagined I'd be a part of. Went to the club one night and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and from there I was instantly hooked, man. Line dancing has definitely become an amazing part of my life. I'm super excited to be a part of it. I have met some amazing people through my travels, and I feel very blessed to be a part of it. It's crazy how life has gone currently with everything going on, and how together the community feels, even though we're so far apart. So it's really cool to be a part of, man. I'm super stoked.
Oh, I'm glad. Yes, everyone who's out there is trying to correct me. Guys, we know it's not the 13th of April. It's the 13th episode. That's what Jim was getting at. It's Friday. We're the 13th episode. We all know that it's not the 13th of April. I know y'all have been locked in quarantine and getting your days confused. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Sometimes the chat can be your friend and can be your enemy.
It's good, though. It's good.
So, you've been on the scene now for a couple of years, but you actually have a really big following and big social scene up in New York. Tell us about that, because I'm wild every time I see your videos, and I can't wait to come up and hang out with you there.
Yeah, man, it'd be awesome to have you guys come up. I gotta tell you, what I'm a part of here in New York is, it's such a blessing. There's many times that I'll go and teach on a Tuesday night and just look at the crowd and say, I can't believe that I can be a part of this. I was trying to think today, actually, before I came on, I was trying to think when I started at Billy Joe's on Tuesdays. For those of you that are watching that don't know exactly what I do on Tuesdays, I teach at Billy Joe's Rib Works at Newburgh, New York, on Tuesday nights. I think, and I'm hoping that somebody might be able to correct me under the comments if I'm wrong, but I do believe it was somewhere around 2013 I started teaching there. And I couldn't get anybody to give me exact answer on that today. I actually tried to find out, but it's pretty cool. I actually was teaching in a couple different bars here, but Tuesday nights is my favorite night. I am so blessed to be a part of it. I mean, on a slow night, we could have a couple hundred people, to a busy, warm summer night out there on the deck. There could be 1,500 people, and I mean, it goes up from there. If if it's a holiday weekend or anything like that, I mean, it is just an incredible thing to be a part of. I work with CJ McIntyre from 94.3, The Wolf. He's our DJ there on Tuesday nights, and there's been many times him and I have just kind of looked at each other and like, I can't believe that this is still going on and that we're so lucky to be a part of it. So, I never once take it for granted. I love being out there with everybody. I love sharing the floor with people that dance with me on Tuesday nights, and the support is just absolutely amazing. And I mean, even the phone calls and stuff that I've gotten since we've closed down because of everything with the virus right now, the people have reached out just to say, hey, how you doing? We miss you. What's going on? You know, it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
I know I'm looking forward to coming up and hanging out. I see the videos all the time, and the fact that you get that many on a Tuesday night, like our clubs aren't even open up on Tuesdays here most of the time in Florida. So the fact that you get that much on a Tuesday, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually, it's funny. You would think that most of the dancing would go on like the weekends around here, but Saturdays are a hard thing to do in this area anyway. But Tuesdays, even you can basically dance almost every night of the week around here. But Tuesdays being the bigger night. Saturdays are more for Cadillac Ranch out in Connecticut. It's a great place to go. Phenomenal place. Awesome instructors. Paula's out there. She's had me go out there teach a few times. But in this area, it's Tuesday nights, and they also have Friday nights at Joe's East West in New Paltz that they do there as well, which is actually a place where I used to teach as well.
Oh, that's cool. So you went from pretty much one bar in New York to another.
Yeah, there was a point where I was teaching at multiple bars all at once. It was we were doing actually. I'm trying to think if it was all simultaneous or not, but I mean, there was a night where, I was doing Tuesdays at Billy Joe's and then Wednesdays in Poughkeepsie, and then Thursdays Steelhouse in Kingston, Fridays Joe's East and West in New Paltz. It was kind of crazy at one moment. I kind of got myself a little booked there every night of the week, but it was a blast to be part of. Right now I'm just doing the Tuesday night thing, and I'm loving it. That's great. It's great for family life and everything, and yeah.
So what's it like trying to balance the home life, being at home teaching, and the job, and being on the road going to events all over the country?
Well, as I've said to many people, and as many as probably assumed, I've had to kind of pull back a little bit. With having our daughter Bailey, and now with another one on the way. Super excited. Stacy's due September 22nd, I believe it is. So baby number 2, which is another girl. So it's good though, because I had 9 totes of clothes in storage that we now get to use. So
there you go. Save a little money for the second one.
Yeah, so I've kind of had to pull back, I had to kind of balance it a little bit. But I can tell you, I met Stacy through dance, and she tremendously misses it. She misses everybody out there. So, it's hard when I'm like, hey, I love you, I'll see you in 4 days or 3 days or whatever, I'm going to go party all weekend long, and she stays home and takes care of our daughter. She's an amazing rock to our family, and allows me to, not allows me, but, blesses me with the opportunity to do what I love, which is teaching. For me, that's all it's about. I just love being able to walk into a room and everybody join me there and not know the steps. And then in 40 minutes, everybody's nailing it and having a good time. That to me is, I think that's for most instructors too,
Yeah.
That's the joy. That's the reason it should be the real reason why everybody does that and teaches.
Yeah, I know Stacy doesn't like it when you come down to Charlotte and hang out with me, because you go home and buy new toys every time. You buy new electronics every time you hang out with me. Sorry, Stace. He hasn't been around me, so he hasn't got to see some of the new stuff I have. So you're safe for now.
Yeah, I've got 3 gimbals now. So.
Oops.
Yeah.
Hey, but yeah, got to watch tons of your live feeds and stuff like that from the club, and all the stuff that you do there, and I know everyone loves watching it. And like I said, one of the big reasons why I started this was I wanted to show off the local scene, and your location was one of the first ones I thought of when I wanted to start all this, because the fact that you're able to get that many people for dancing in the middle of the week, and that age group, is just crazy. You don't see that usually anywhere in the country.
Well, I do have to say that, it's a combined effort for sure, between, Billy Joe's themselves, letting us come in and using their place. And I mean, it's, first a restaurant and bar, and then we kind of turned it into this dance place. But it's about the environment too. We're right on the Hudson River. I mean, when I tell you we're on it,
right,
it's flooded. It's flooded before, so the deck goes out over the river, and we have the most amazing views. And Billy Joe's, the crew there, the owner and everything, they have been so tremendous to us and so good to us. I mean, from doing free buffets and such, offering free food to the dancers that come every Tuesday, to giveaways, to specials and stuff like that. It's been really, really cool. But it's like I said, it's everybody. It's the crew. It's the waiters and the people, the bar staff. They take care of everybody and try. I mean, that's a lot of people to provide drinks to. You know what I mean? And
right.
They work their butts off. I mean, and right down to CJ promoting and being a part of it. And it's a cool little family to be a part of. But it's definitely a group effort. And I'm extremely, like I've said multiple times, I can't say it enough how awesome it is to be a part of it and blessed to be a part of it. But yeah, it's cool to see. I've worked for many different bars, and a lot, as many people probably could agree to, it's most of the time, and I don't want to stereotype it or anything like that, but sometimes it's difficult to work with certain bars because maybe they don't understand the dancing side of it so much. And it is about sales. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
right.
This place has to pay for us to be there and keep the lights on and such. So sometimes it's hard to get owners to kind of understand what we do. So I'm proud to say that Billy Joe's is their owners, and they have multiple owners and managers and everything. They definitely get it, and they let us kind of dictate what kind of happens, and it's a good relationship.
Well, that's always good. And I actually got a couple questions for you that came in today specifically about the bar up there and the atmosphere. Big shout out to Dean Hooks, who sent me in, and he's been sending me in questions every day, and two more great ones, Dean, today. And one of them was, how important is it to attracting and retaining that demographic that y'all have up there, that like 18 to 25, because I know how hard that can be, because until they turn 21, they really can't drink, and that's where all the sales go, which is what keeps the bar open. Everyone knows that. The more alcohol the bar sells, the more cooperative they're going to be. But how important is it to have that younger demographic that's willing to stay up and stay out and come out and party?
So I think it is a pretty neat thing that on Tuesday nights, the age range, they go right from 18 to well into 70s and 80s, 80-year-old, and I think that is so cool, because how often do you see that age group in one area having a good time and interacting, together? I will say, there's some nights where it gets a lot of control and maybe some drinking or whatever gets, but that's any place, right? But
right.
Respectively, most of the younger generation really respects our older group of people that come in, our regulars and such, and I think it's a really neat thing to see that. But as far as, that's a question I get a lot from people. We've seen your live feeds, how do you do it? Well, it's about location, first of all. It's about the place that we're doing it, Billy Joe's. It's a phenomenal environment. That's got a big play in it. But for me, for the decision making that I have involved in it, I feel like it's keeping the music and dance as current as possible. And typically I try, it's not something I always get to do, but I try to keep whatever I'm teaching something that's relevant, something that is, if I'm teaching let's say I'm teaching a country dance or whatever, but I'm very lucky as well that I'm able to kind of go from different genres throughout as I teach, from, even like an oldies contour song to, Jason Aldean to George Strait to Pitbull.
Right.
So it's what I'm trying to do is if whatever I'm going to teach, whatever song I'm going to use is something that is going to be on the radio, or it's something that nobody's ever heard before and it's got such a great beat that they just feel like they have to dance to it. And, as most instructors would probably agree, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But I would say that my majority-wise, I'm picking music that when they get in the car the next morning to go to work, they're like, oh, I heard that at the club last night. We did a dance to that song. They're hearing it on the radio and it's keeping it relevant. That's my goal with what I try to do. But yeah, it's a lot of things that are involved in trying to keep that demographic and keeping the people coming every single week. And it's a lot to play with the DJ. CJ does a great job in keeping the energy up. Between him and I, we both try to do that. Getting involved in the crowd and being on the microphone a little bit. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see when it all comes together.
Yeah, the problem I see a lot here is it definitely has a time shift. Like early on, you'll see it, and then as it gets later, you'll see one crowd come in and empty. But seeing all of it together, it's very, very rare. Like you said, it's very like when you got both age groups are still there. Because a lot of here, and this has been a lot of problems that I've noticed in a lot of bars around here, they don't make the sales. Dancers don't buy drinks. Unless which I take that back. When you come to the barn, you know that there are certain dancers that do buy drinks.
Those dancers have been wonderful, and they've blessed me with those drinks as well, as I was there too. So, yeah, I'm blessed to be able to share the Barnanza event with Mr. John Robinson himself. So we have had some stories that we probably shouldn't talk about.
We won't talk about those.
But, yeah, it's been awesome.
I did just get asked by Mala to she told me to ask you about the ish at the airport story. Uh-oh. Judging by the eye roll, this is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad.
I don't know if we should talk about it, but yeah. So this is it's a funny story. I can't even remember where. I think we were flying into Charlotte. I think we were doing Big Bang, if I remember right. And we were at the airport, and so when I'm teaching, as I'm going through the lessons or the steps or whatever, I'll say, "How's everybody doing? You all got it?" And all kind of looking at me like ish, So I'll use the ish thing. And we were at the airport, and we were getting ready to get on the plane, and how they have that little what do you go? I don't even know what you call it, where you put your luggage in to see if it's going to fit.
Yes.
It kind of measures it. So I'm walking through, and I typically only bring carry-on because I don't want to deal with the checking process and then the potential of losing luggage, like Darren and Amy did. But which was a lot more dramatic than what I would go through. But I typically just like to use the carry-on. So I go through the door to get on the plane, and the lady's like, "Can you put your bag in that whatever you call it?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go to put it in, and it really wouldn't fit, and I without a beat, and I didn't even mean it. It just rolled out. I looked at the attendant, and I'm like, "Ish." And she kind of just gave me this really, really weird look, and she kind of just told me to take my bag and continue on. So I was able to go on with the plane because it didn't quite fit, but I did make it fit in the overhead compartment. But it was a quite funny moment for me it was like second nature, just kind of rolled out of my mouth, and I didn't even mean to do it. It was funny though.
Yeah, we had it. I forget where me and Kelly were flying one time, but I had my Pelican case that I carry with all the camera gear. We were on a layover. Obviously, if I'm in the new airport with the Pelican case, I carried it on the plane already, and the flight attendant was like, "You can't carry that, doesn't fit our overheads." I'm like, I just got here with it. How else would it have been in my hands? I'm like, you see on my ticket that I'm on a layover. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So, another question Dean asked was, what advice would you give bar instructors that have never attended a line dance event weekend? Like, what can they learn and bring back to the community besides the dances?
So the question is that say that again to me? I'm sorry.
What advice would you give to bar instructors, someone who's teaching at a local establishment that's never been to a dance event? of the benefits that they could, by attending one, what they could bring back to the community, different things they can learn besides like the dances themselves, which is the obvious answer.
Well, right. So obviously the first thing would,
the different dances.
You need to attend an event ASAP. Like, it's a different world. I'll never forget, my entire life will I ever forget my first event that I attended, which was the Mishnak and Friends weekend up here in New York, with Dan and Kelly Albro. Dan and Kelly gave me my first start. Dan and Kelly were the very first people to ever hire me for an event. And I'm still doing that event today. And I'm another amazing thing to be a part of. It's huge, amazing family to be a part of over there. But what to take back? Yeah, you got to get yourself to an event. There's so many all over the country now,
right,
to give you so many different options. And, for me, one of the things that I can recall as what I took back the most was technique of dance and teaching. Because, one of the good things for an instructor to do is take classes from other instructors, because they get good ideas. I mean, there's been many times I've go to teach a dance and maybe not really quite get the step across or what we're supposed to be doing. And, an instructor, I might run it by an instructor. I've done that with Dean, Dance and Dean. Hey, Dean, how would you explain this step? What do you think is the best way to do it? Because as an instructor, you never stop, learning on how to teach and different techniques that you can learn to portray the dance better over to the dancer. I can tell you, I mean, as you had kind of brought up in the beginning of the show, Junior Willis was was my biggest mentor, coming up into the line dance world. And he taught me a lot of things, good and bad.
But, I was about to say, I still remember the first weekend I ever met you. I was in Virginia working for Grant Austin for Dance Connection the first time you worked for Olivia Ray and them down in Virginia. And Junior introduced me to you, and that was an hysterical weekend.
Yeah. And by the way, Virginia event, what a great event that is. Oh, Olivia, I love her event. It's so much fun. But yeah, Junior was an amazing mentor towards me. He definitely guided me. And then, John Robinson too, he's one too, I have to give credit to. And they taught me a lot of different things, don't do this, do that, as far as my instruction's concerned, but every instructor, I don't care who you are, you never stop, you never stop learning on how to do things. And I mean, you have to, because look at the dancing, look at the dancing the way it was in the 90s to the way it is now.
Constantly changing.
I look what Shane is doing, and, Fred and what Guyton did. I mean, you took dance to a whole new level, and as an instructor, you need to stay on that. You need to learn that and I'm not even talking about steps. I'm talking about technique on how to teach, and that's what I'm, really talking about. But going to kind of revert back to the beginning of that question, that's what I think is most important for an instructor that's a bar teacher, to be able to experience that, And another thing too is I really try to get my crowd on a Tuesday night to attend an event, because they're just taking a class from me every week after week after week. They're only experiencing me, and I want them to experience other instructors. I want them to support other instructors and get because like everybody has their own way of teaching, and that's a good thing, because there might be a person that comes into my class on a Tuesday that says, I just can't learn from him. He's too fast or whatever. He's not explaining something right. And you're always going to have, I don't care who you are, you're going to have somebody that's that way. But that person might go and take a class, from John and say, oh my gosh, I nailed it. I got it, and that's just the way it works, Do
you experience where you get a lot of, I don't want to say like pushback from the, owners and managers of the where you teach at on Tuesdays for your music selection?
Ooh, you really want to get on that conversation? Oh,
well, the reason I ask is because I've had Trevor on and other people who've taught at bars and at events, And even like Trevor teaches at multiple bars inside the same city. And he'll go to one bar and they'll allow him to teach one dance. He'll go 10 minutes down the road to the other bar and they won't allow him to teach that song. Some places are very particular on the type of music they allow to play. Like I had a DJ on Monday, Larry Swag from the barn. And luckily at the barn, they don't give them really any hostility on what type of music. And Janice Graves and Lynn Luciana, you've been to the barn. They got 3 different instructors teaching 3 different types of dancing styles, all that. So I just didn't know how much it plays. I'm sure they probably are some selective. I didn't know if they give you a lot because, like, when you come to an event, you are learning new dances from all sorts of genres and difficulties and stuff like that of how bad it actually you get.
Okay, so this is a very touchy subject because there's a lot of people that feel that line dancing should be straight country.
Yes.
And that is fine to feel that way. There's others that like every genre. And there's other people that don't want any country and they want, alternative pop, whatever, which is fine. So I've dealt with this in length. I have fought, I have conversated, I have combed through it. So I'm trying to think about the best way to answer this. That I've worked for bars that have said to me, "You are not teaching this song."
Okay.
And I'm going to go back to Billy Joe's because that's my night, right? Tuesday nights. The owners are amazing. They let me make my decision. They don't get involved in it, but I don't take advantage of that. I try not to take advantage of that. So with me knowing how people are, with the variety of people of going to just country to alternative to all alternative, I try to balance it. I try to make it fair. As a DJ, which I also do on the side, every DJ that's out there right now knows that you will never make everybody in the room happy. There's no way. It is mathematically impossible. You can't do it.
True statement.
I find that the closest that you can get to that is by hitting as many genres as possible.
Right.
Because even if you upset somebody for 15 minutes for everything you played, you may play one genre or one song that individual likes and they're happy for 3 minutes. So they can't say that they had a miserable time all night long because they had 3 minutes of fun. All right? So,
true.
When I'm teaching, I try to, I'll go in and I'll review what we did last week, and I'll teach a new one. And then next week I review the new one, and et cetera.
Right.
So I'll try to alternate where my review is country and my new teach is non-country.
Okay.
Next week I review the non-country and I teach a country. I'll try to do that. There may be weeks where I don't do that. There
Right.
might be a week where I'm like, man, I found this awesome dance. I don't care about the rotation. I'm teaching it because they're going to love it.
Now, do they hound you on what is exactly country and what isn't country, though?
Well, so that's another really sticky
like you have your big hit, "Who's Up All Night," which is very more modern country, as I'd call it. Do they
and then you look at Jono's dance to the Pitbull and Blake Shelton, right?
Right.
Bamaland. So
yes,
I believe, and in fact, if I can look back because I keep track of everything that I teach.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that I think I did like 3 non-countries in a row because I came across that. And Jono sent it over to me. I'm like, I was Tuesday. He sent it to me Tuesday at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I'm teaching at 7. I'm like, oh, I'm teaching this tonight. I didn't even know it because I knew it would be a great hit. I knew that they'd love it. It'd be a lot of fun, high energy, and that's kind of just to kind of go back on the other question that you asked about how do you try to keep the people coming, that age group and everything. It's all about energy.
Right. Agreed.
Keeping the energy in the room. I don't teach nightclubs. I don't teach waltzes or anything like that on a Tuesday. It's just you can't. For me, in that environment, I can't do it. If I did that, people would look at me sideways and say, "This is depressing. I didn't come down here to have a sob story. I came here to have a fun night. It's
Right.
Tuesday. It's the second day in the week. Monday sucked. I want to have a nice night. I want to enjoy myself. I want energy. Energy is what's keeping that room going. You think about it. Make 2 examples. You have a person that's walking by a bar on the street, and they look in the window and they see 10 people just kind of hanging out, maybe drinking a little bit, bopping their head to some music, slow sway music, whatever. And then you walk a couple of doors down, you come to another bar, and there's still 10 people in it, but they are having a blast. They are dancing their butts off. They're drinking. The music's bumping. They're having a great time. Which bar are you going to go into?
Right.
You're going to go in the one where it has energy. So keeping the energy alive for that entire night is the key. And I know that, Trevor and I have talked about it in the past too. That's what's so important about that, unless you get like an amazing nightclub that you gotta teach. But it's really important to keep that high energy. For sure.
I agree. I laugh at, I see bars sometimes that will take songs and not allow instructors to teach to them or DJs to play them because they feel like it's not country enough, even though it's played on, like, I understand we have the whole Old Town Road get up issue. I get that. A lot of people didn't think that they were country, but like Trevor teaches in the bar that they don't allow him to teach out like that, which is a Reba McEntire song, just because it's remixed. Just because it's remixed, but they allowed him to teach Old Town Road.
Okay.
They wouldn't allow him to teach the Get Up in that location, but they allowed him to teach Old Town Road, and I laughed. I was like, really? That's your line?
I think I remember him reaching out to me because I had put, when I did the dance with Stacy, the contra to the Get Up that we did.
Yep.
He had messaged me about wanting to teach it there, and I think he did tell me that they wouldn't let him teach it.
Yeah, at the one, but the other one did. But the one that is downtown that he subs at sometimes, they wouldn't let, but they let him teach. The week before, he taught Old Town Road by JP and Jose, and I'm like, that's y'all's line? That was really the line y'all chose, but they still to this day, and he's had out like that for what, 5 or 6 years now, since he won it with the USLDCC, and they won't let him play it in that one bar. I'm like, really? That's why I was asked like more updated remix versions, like you were just saying the Blake Shelton Pitbull song. I'm like, I understand Blake Shelton's on it, but you won't let us play this song, but you'll let us play this song that has Blake Shelton and Pitbull, and Blake's really not on it that much.
Yeah. So real quick before I forget again, I wanted to mention, talking about the different genres of music.
Mm-hmm.
As everybody knows, as we were just discussing, there's a lot of crossover now. But country music is not what country music used to be.
Oh, no, not even close.
Right?
No.
But as far as going back to the earlier question about, keeping high energy and keeping, trying to bring in a crowd or attack or basically kind of getting the attention of the younger crowd.
Right.
You got to cross over. If you have a bar owner that's just so against it, hey, we got to sit down and talk about this. Here's some videos. Here's what's going on out in that world right now. Here's Billy Joe's on a Tuesday night playing Fireball and Pitbull, and we do the Nickelback one. I lost my mind.
Something in your mouth. Something in your mouth.
No. The Rock. Somebody put a comment below and tell me the name of it. We rock it out every Tuesday night. They love it. Anyway, we go all over the place, but they kind of have to have that conversation with the bar owner and say, listen, this is the direction it's going, and I think if we tried it, try to do some non-country stuff, it may give that attraction towards another younger group of people that might be interested in coming in, which means revenue for the bar owner, which is the only thing they care about, right? I shouldn't say that. Let me retract that. Not the only thing they care about, but that's one of the things that keeps the night going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely up there, if not the number one thing they think about, very one or two.
Yeah, I mean, it's the main reason, right? So when people...
If not, they're not going to open.
Right. So when the DJ says, or when I call out, hey, everybody, take care of your bartenders, make sure you tip them, everything, you got in for free. You can buy a drink. That money helps keep the night going.
Correct.
And it's important because when the night shuts down, everybody's like, well, why are they shutting down? What happened? I don't understand. Why don't we have a place to dance now? Well, because we needed to support the night when we had the opportunity, and now they've lost, so much money they can't keep the doors open for this evening for what's going on. Luckily, we have a great balance with that on Tuesday nights. You know, we have a lot of people that like to come in and just sit at the bar and hang out and listen to music and watch people dance, which is totally cool. Nothing wrong with that, you know. But for people that are trying to get nights going and working at different bars, you really got to try to get that owner to kind of try to meet you at least in the middle a little bit.
Question on that one, because a lot of people are saying that's huge right there. So you don't charge to get in, but how bad is your drink prices? See, this came up yesterday when I was talking to Byron out in Cali. He said the prices out there are massive, and compared to
let me say this. You are paying to be on the Hudson River, outside on this beautiful deck, overlooking the mountains and the water. You're going to pay a little extra over that. So an $8 beer is not going to be the same 2 blocks in Newburgh. It'll be $4 or $5.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
people, but you got to understand something. People don't look at it like that. When you're paying $8 for beer, yeah, that's a lot of money. And then if you throw a shot in it,
right, exactly,
$10. You know what I mean? But you look where you are. Look what you're paying for. You are contributing to that night to be successful. You're paying for environment. You're paying for all the people that are there. You know, the girls that work their butts off, getting the place ready and work all afternoon and wait on everybody and try to get their drinks out and run back and forth. Take care of them. They're working too. You know, tip them. Make it, you know, it's a community. We're there all to keep the night alive and have a good time and have a blast. People need to realize that. You know, it is free to get in on Tuesday nights. And I just try to stress it to people. You don't even need to buy an alcoholic beverage. Buy a soda. Buy a water. You want water?
Right. That's what they were just saying. That's huge. It makes a difference.
Right. Buy a bottle of water and throw a dollar or two down on the counter for the tip. You don't have to do it every time. Maybe every other. Just, you know, contribute into it. That's all.
Jim says, unlike Amy's event on the moon, that place has an atmosphere. You're right. That's just like if you're down here, you're going to pay $7-8 for the beers, maybe 5 or 6 depending on where you're going, like a roundup and stuff like that. But at the barn, you've been there, you know how cheap the beer is.
Yeah,
you know how cheap the drinks are. It doesn't break your bank going to the barn unless you decide to sit there and buy shots for 20 of your closest friends, and even then, you're not killing the bank compared to South Florida, New York, California, stuff like that. Vegas.
Oh, and you know, Kathy did mention something. I just looking at some of the comments. You know, it's a restaurant. Buy some food.
Right.
Order an appetizer.
Places like that, if they do have food, order the food up. That's totally great.
Yeah. So as far as going back to your original questions, yeah, it's a little bit more.
Yeah.
It is.
That's why I was curious, because I know with that many people, I was curious if do you charge to cover or do you let them in for free and hope they buy the drink?
Or food, or yeah. So I think it's smart not having a cover charge. You know.
Agreed. I agree with you.
In fact, you know, I want to bring up this too. I think it was last year or the year before. Don't quote me on that. But Billy Joe's did consider putting a cover on Tuesday nights. You know, but what's so great about them is they came to CJ and I, and they were like, hey, you know, we're thinking about doing this. You know, what do you think? And I, you know, of course, we were instantly like, oh, that's a bad idea. You know, I think you're going to lose money. Having a no cover is what gets people to come in. You know, I think it would be a bad business move. You know,
and test something like that. Test it on a night that's not your busiest night of the week.
They now, you know, Billy Joe's has other things other than Tuesday country nights. I mean, they have I think they do a salsa night. I'm not sure if it's only in the summer, but you know, they do bands on Saturday nights, and some nights they do charge a cover. It just
because they have to pay for the band, so yeah, that makes sense.
You know, and you know, if you're ever up in the area, you got to go there on a Saturday night too. I mean, they got usually if it's nice weather, they'll have the band outside on the stage. They put a stage outside.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's really, really a lot of fun. But yeah.
So, what do you prefer, the teaching at Joe's or teaching at events? What do you like more, that atmosphere-wise?
You're going to ask me that on live right now.
There's no right or wrong answer, but a lot of people, like, I'm sure it's different. And that's why I'm curious. How much does it compare Because you get the crowds there. It's not like most people who maybe get 15 or 20 people at their local bar. You get an equivalent crowd out that you would get at a dance event.
So my roots, they started in a bar.
Yeah.
I'm a bar instructor. You know, that's where I'm most comfortable. That doesn't take anything away from workshops. You know, they're two different. For me, I view them so different. They are not comparable. You know, that's why I always try to encourage people that do bar dancing to really break those doors open, go check out a workshop, get the different experience to see how far line dancing really can go. You know, I'll talk to some people and I'll say, you know how there's like the CMAs for country music? Yeah. You know, well, they do the same thing for line dancing. You know, they do the Crystal Boot Award. You know, people are blown away that line dancing spreads that far and is so involved like that. So, I'm a bar instructor, man. I love it. If anybody asks me to teach at a bar, I'm all over it. You know, but with saying that, the workshops and events like that have really allowed me to grow as an instructor, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I mean, I have met, like I said earlier, I've met the most amazing people. I mean, look, I've got to know you guys so well, and I mean, you know, right down to working Will Craig's event on, you know, in Charlotte. I love that event. I'm so blessed to be a part of that, and the staff that's there, dude. I don't take any of that for granted. That's something that I'll live for. I'll be 85 years old if I make it that long and never forget it.
This is true. This is true. So I am going to ask you, since it's getting nearer to the end, and I know it might take you a little bit to think of some of this. I've asked every instructor, event director, DJ the same question. What if you could have an event anywhere in the world, no money, unlimited funds, where would you hold it? And who are the first 5 instructors you would call to bring on?
Whoa.
Unlimited funds, money is no object.
I would have loved to know this question prior to this broadcast so I could have had some time to think about it. Wow. Oh, man. Wow. Well, somewhere warm. I can say that. Because I'm in New York right now, and it's freaking cold, and it's April, almost into May, and it was, I think, 38 degrees when I got up for work this morning at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so, by the way, I understand it's quarantine time, but I'm kind of missing your countdown to summer that you normally do.
Well, I did it this spring. I thought we were good to go. I didn't think I had to do the summer countdown, but I'm going to have to start that. You know?
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I went out for a bike ride earlier today, and it was in the 90s here.
Kelly, please. So, yeah, somewhere warm. Specifically, I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint a exact position that we could do it. But as far as instructors are concerned, you know, I would have to say 45. I would have to call my buddy Junior and say, "Get your ass up, man. You're coming to work for me. We're not going to mess around anymore." You know, and I think a lot of people would love to see him back out on the floor. He would be one for sure. I'd force him. I'd just throw some money at him and say, "Junior, let's go."
Just promise him some Mountain Dew. And some Shelby juice, and that he could wear his Tennessee gear. He'd be in it anyway.
Yeah. And I would probably give my buddy Danson Dean a call, man. I love working with Danson Dean. He's got energy. I love what he teaches, you know. Definitely John Robinson, of course. Love working with him. I've been blessed to be able to work with John. And, you know, John and I have roomed together multiple times, and we've got to know each other pretty well. You know, so I love John. He would definitely be one as well. And boy, you really put me on the spot on this one.
Like everyone's commenting, like Brandon, if you watched a couple past episodes, you'd prepared. Everyone else knew that Mala's like, I knew this question was coming. You should have just texted Mala. She would have gladly warned you.
with a 1.5 old, sometimes it's hard to spend an hour in front of a tablet to watch an episode.
Trevor's over here glad. I'm glad I never got asked this question. Yeah, because you're the one that came up with it right after the first episode with you. So blame Trevor, because Trevor actually came up with this question that I've been asking everybody.
Well, Trevor was going to be another one that I would say I would ask to work at the event as well. So Trevor would definitely be one person I would reach out to as well, because I love working with him. I don't know if that's 4. Is it 4?
I think that's 4.
Gee, let me think. I'm not sure, man. I've worked with so many great people that would be amazing to work with, in my own event, that it's hard to choose just 5 because so many people come to my mind. The people that I've mentioned so far is just, basically because they've been so good to me, and I love working with them, and they always have high energy, and it's always for those people, and not, they're always about the dancer, which is mostly all instructors anyway, but being able to work with so many people, it is really hard to choose 5 people. But I gotta give a shout out to one other person that I probably would ask, because I love working for him and working with him, is Will Craig. I enjoy him tremendously, and I like that he likes to have a good time on the floor with everybody as well. So I guess there's my 5.
There's your 5. Shout out to Will. I know you got your cruise you're trying to plan for in this wild time right now.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that for him.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Lorenzo Golo on watching. He said that was a tough question.
Oh man, Lorenzo, I'd have to get him there, man. He's got to get back out there again.
Lorenzo, I'm gonna have to get you on one of these days and ask you that question. You'll be prepared, I'm sure. So everyone's like, you didn't pick a girl. Everyone's like, you need a girl, you need a girl, you need a girl. He's got 3, about to have 3 in his house. He doesn't need to bring a girl. he's got Stacy, he's got Bailey, and he's got the 3rd one on the way. He's got enough women in his life.
The true answer to that question is, if there was unlimited
you'd
money,
have everybody.
Then I would be inviting everybody. Everybody would be there. It would be an amazing event just to spend time with everybody. And, it'd be outside of the instructing, the socializing with everybody at the events is one of the highlights for me, seeing everybody and catching up,
right,
and all that too. So that's what it would be mostly about.
It's been kind of nice, because a buddy of mine told me today, they go, someone should get on the show and they interview you. That way you have to answer all these questions. And I'm like, listen, I'm only 2 weeks in. I'm only 2 weeks in. I go, I haven't had to answer any of these questions. And I'm actually thankful Trevor came up with this, like, literally right after his show. On the Monday, the very first episode, he's going through and he's calling me. He called me up and said, okay, I watched the whole show. I said I wasn't going to watch my whole show. I watched the whole show, and we were chatting. He sent me that question, and he sent it to me the next day when Big Jim was on, and I'm like, oh, this is a good one. And I just kept it, and it's been the question I ask near the end of every show, and it's one of those what ifs. You never know. A lot of people have decided to start events of their own, and they get to answer their own what if. But what if? Most of us are never going to start our own event, or going to go out and look to start our own line dance weekend or any type of dance weekend. But hey, if we did, who would we bring?
Yeah. I actually was supposed to, April 18th was supposed to be my first little event that we were doing up here.
Yeah, you had, your venue looked amazing. I saw the pictures y'all posted of that venue. That venue looked absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my God, we were so excited to find a place that wanted to work with us and to make something happen. And I mean, we spent a lot of time with it and speaking with the owner. And I mean, this is kind of like a few years in the making, because, if I'm going to do an event, and we were just going to start small, just with a country night, or a line dance night, as we would say, and then kind of grow from there. See how we do with the space and how people flow, and we kind of wanted to grow into a possible event at that venue, And we were super excited, and then quarantine kicked in, and we had to kind of reschedule the event. So it's currently scheduled for June 27th right now. Tickets are still available, but we actually we sold out in 2 weeks when I first made the announcement. So that was so awesome. Of course, with the reschedule, some people have had to kind of, they have other things going on. So we have a few tickets available still. And that's with the assumption that life kind of gets back to normal, which we hope. So
I just got reminded, yes, I have another question for you that got asked by my DJ at the beginning of the week, Larry. He gave a question to ask everybody, which you know, Larry, you've been to the barn. If you had to pick a drink that you would be for your personality, for you, what would it be? If it helps, Daniel Trepet made himself sex on the beach.
There's going to be lots of comments under this right now.
I'm sure they're coming. Daniel Trepet made himself sex on the beach. So, you can only tell you.
A frozen margarita. I love a good margarita.
This is true. And actually,
but I would say that, my drink of choice is cranberry and vodka.
I knew that.
Which is the one to go to. But so it'd be between the two of them, I guess. Depends on what the night's going to bring, and it depends on where we're at. But I love a good margarita.
Taylor Hickey just chimed in and said it'd be something with Sambuca. You're a Sambuca fan?
No, it's something I call out in one of the dances. What we do.
I'm like, wait a minute.
It's a Tuesday thing.
Okay, and then Trevor actually just gave me a great idea, and I'm going to have you ask you. So next week, I'm about to release the 5 people I have on. Name me one question you would want to hear them answer. And I'll let you know I do have 5 dancers coming on next week.
One question that I would have for them.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know. Again, putting me on the spot, Kelly.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a few minutes to think of it. I'm going to go ahead. For everyone out there, my guest next week, Monday, we're going all the way down under. I got the lovely and talented Madison Glover coming on Monday as my guest. Nice. Tuesday, we're going to switch it up, and we're going to go all the way over to... he's from England. He lives here in the States now, though. So some of you might know him, some of you don't. Mr. Rob Glover. He's going to be on my guest on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going back up north. Event director, choreographer, instructor. I'm a good friend of mine who's actually still working on the front lines. Him and his wife both are. I got the man, Derek Steele, coming on Wednesday. Thursday, we're going out to Cali. I'm going old school. I'm bringing on a buddy of mine named Michael Barr, who some of you have probably heard of. He's been around for a very long time, so I'm sure he's going to have some great stories for us. And on Friday, we're going into May. I'm bringing it into May. So I figured I'm going to start May off with a bang, and I'm bringing on the one, the only, the number one MC that I know, the Jamie Marshall. So
the Jamie Marshall.
There are the 5 I got coming on. What question would you like those 5 to have to answer? And it could be pretty much anything. I don't hold back a lot. I've kept this pretty candid, relaxed.
I might have to get back to you, Kelly.
That's fine. Get back to me. I'll post it. I'll let everybody know what you said for those who didn't tune in. This will be up for those who are just now tuning in or...
you know what? I just thought of something.
Okay, ask away.
Unless somebody's already come up with the question. So going back to your idea of, if you could name yourself, if you could be one drink, what would you be? How about what would you be if you could pick out a specific dance step?
Ooh, I like that one.
What would you be?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
So I would love to hear Jamie Marshall's answer to that.
I'm going to be looking forward to Jamie Marshall's answer too. So that can definitely be an interesting one. I'll have to remind Jamie it's got to be Facebook appropriate. We can't get kicked off.
Yes, that's right.
So for those who just tuned in, this will be up on Facebook and YouTube. You can go back and watch. I have all 13 episodes up. In case you missed anyone, want to go back and check. We've had some awesome guests on. I've been very privileged. Everyone who's been willing to come on and chat with me. I already, like I said, next week's lineup's going to be fun. The following week, I got a little special treat I'm working out for you guys. We are going to shake things up a little bit, and I got a few new tricks up my sleeve that I know I've been talking to Mr. Zahorsky about, and he's looking forward to what I'm going to do. So thank you so much, Brandon, for joining me. I had a blast. I appreciate you coming on and chatting with me.
I loved it, man. Thank you so much for having me a part of this.
Absolutely,
really
and I can't wait till this is all
cool.
over because I'm definitely coming up and we're going to do an entire show out right off your club. I'm going to come up on a Tuesday and we're going to do a whole deep dive into what you do, behind the scenes video, and I'm definitely looking forward to coming on location and coming up there and hanging out with you and Stacy and the gang. So
that would be awesome, man. I would love it.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you had enjoyed the week. We'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. We're going across all the way to Australia with Madison Glover on Monday. So like, follow, share. Make sure you hit the share button. Log on, like us all. That way you can make sure you don't miss Monday. And we'll see you guys later. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.
Later, guys.